Hello, everyone. Today is Wednesday, October 15th, 2025. This is your update for Thursday, the 16th. All right, let's go. Well, as far as new setups, let's stick with these two for now. I did adjust the parameters on this NP, so make sure you make a note of that. Not a bad day in the portfolio. Not as good as it was at some point, and that's the thing. It's like as you start getting into this crazy bull market like we've been in and some of these crazy stocks like we're in, the fluctuations could be quite extreme. It was interesting. I was talking. I met Ed Sakota years ago, a few years ago, not that long ago. Anyway, the reason he's no longer running money that he told me was that the fluctuations were getting so big the clients couldn't handle it anymore. So it's kind of a good problem to have, but it does cut both ways. So yeah, we had a good day today, but obviously there's going to be bad days, and we've had bad days recently. Anyway, make sure you do adjust your stops on all these. We did hit the IPT officially an ATAI, and I know we skirted it. I took partial profit, just full disclosure. We talked about this already. At the KYTX. Now let's take a look at the Landry list, and then we'll take a look at the portfolio. As far as official setups, OR again, and the NP, and again, make sure you're waiting for entries on these. This one's a little odd looking, but that's a first steep retracement in an IPO. They have these very, very deep retracements, and sometimes it's a great pattern to trade. We have one short in here. I don't see any reason to short anything at this juncture. There's a few in here that could probably use a little bit more pullback, like this one here. It's a SPOC. I wanted to get it on the list so we take a look at it. And let's see if there's a couple of other ones. This one here also needs a little bit deeper pullback, a little more knockout move. But these are some, again, I wanted to get on the list just so we could check them out. If you're looking for an IPO, it's kind of bottoming out, kind of interesting. This FIG did catch my eye. But anyway, I think that's all the ones that were a little too shallow. Yeah. So anyway, that's it for the Landry list. Let's take a look at the portfolio, and then we'll pop out, obviously, to the overall market and drill down a little bit. ABCL, not a bad day there. Not too far away from multi-year closing high. So far, so good there. I like these ones that are at still fairly low levels longer term, so they have a long ways to go. Maybe go all the way back to the old highs, kind of like the ATAI. Down a little today, but just a smidge off of multi-year highs. So far, so good there. Cypher ended a smidge higher. Again, better than the poke in the eye. That should be all-time highs for this one. Yeah. And KGC, speaking of all-time highs, not a bad day there. Up over 5% or a buck and a half. Not a bad day there. Kato's correcting still. This actually looks pretty good. If you missed the initial trade or if you want to do an add-on, an entry above this high, maybe about 100 or so, give it a little wiggle room, would be a good add-on type of situation. KYTX, not a bad day there. Again, don't split hairs. If we get up towards IPT, once again, feel free to lock and load. And it's always a good idea when it happens fairly quickly, like it did with this one, or if it nears it fairly quickly. See the weekly charts from a couple of weeks ago for more on that. And I'll talk about it again tomorrow in some detail. NUII off to the races. Still a good day, but well off its best levels. Kind of excited to see it way up here, but get ready for a bumpy ride, huh? That one's kind of crazy. And finally, TFPM banging on new highs with a little bit of vigor, much better than the poke and the eye. Let's take a look at the overall market and drill down a little, if I can find it. There we go. I think it is. There it is. All right, first of all, the P's, S&P 500, higher on the day, but off the best levels, kind of bouncing around a bit. You know me, I sure like to see them make some new highs and stay there for a while. Makes you wonder whether we're getting into this crazy October pattern that often happens. Nasdaq Composite, not a bad day there after all was said and done, but still off its best levels and off its worst levels too. Rusty 2000, look at this guy, all-time highs. I'm not going to argue with that. This is great to see these small caps finally kicking into gear like they have been lately. Biotechnology, look at that, brand new highs, a little bit of vigor, so that's certainly and obviously a good thing. Metals overall coming in a little bit. But within the metals, gold banging out new highs with vigor. Gold stocks banging out new highs with vigor. Palladium doing really well, as you can see right here at brand new highs. Silver also has been doing well. And notice that it banged out new highs on a little bit of vigor. So a lot of areas did well within the metals, even though overall they were down on the day. Semiconductors up a little bit, just shy of all-time highs. As a trend guy, I'm not going to argue with that. Nice little knockout move there. Last week, obviously. So far, so good. Utilities banging out new highs with a little bit of vigor. And some of these areas, as I've been saying in the market in a bit, that were weaker not that long ago have begun to come back. such as health services. They've got their work, or they have their work cut out for them, but they're improving nonetheless. So overall, things are still looking pretty good. Obviously, one day at a time. I would expect volatility. And I'll be too shocked when it hits once again. Everybody have a fantastic night. If you have any questions, you know the routine. Thank you so much.